What's up, everybody? Anthony here, specialtymotorcars.net, and as you can see, it's freaking cold out today. But it's a beautiful day to be outside. Behind me, you'll see a classic Cadillac I have to offer for you this week, folks. This is a 1984 Cadillac Eldorado Biarritz. Biarritz, however you want to say it. This is a convertible version, 1984, finished in a beautiful Hatteras blue. 70,000 mile car. Just gave you all the details, but let's get into a video, do a walk around of this car and show you all the ins and outs, ups and downs, under the hood, all that good stuff. Tell you all about this car, price, everything right here in this video. So stay tuned and let's get into this Cadillac. And here she is, a beautiful 1984 Cadillac Eldorado Biarritz. This would have been the first year of the 2 years that GM had come back with the convertible Eldorado after 1976, when GM told everybody no more convertibles. So this car would have been the car that made a lot of future hoping Cadillac collectors upset to say you guys brought back the convertible. But this car was actually done by ASC. So GM partnered with American Sunroof Corporation to make these cars. But these are VIN designated cars sold as factory built convertibles, just done by ASC, kind of like ASC does or did the T-tops and stuff like that for some of the other 80s and early 90s cars. American Sunroof did these cars as well, and I think they did a phenomenal job. I don't get a lot of these cars often, these Eldorados, this era. I do like them. I think they're stylish. I think this is the most pretty color combination for these cars. This is a Hatteras blue with a white top and then white leather interior. The Biarritz package kind of mimics the d'Elegance in the Broughams with the button tufted leather interior offered back then, and I think it's just the best color combination. The only one that I think is just as good is like a crimson red, or I think, well, it would have been autumn maple fire mist. But there's a lot of these in white with red interior. There's a lot of red and red. I think the contrasting colors works really well, but it's not as commonly seen as a white over red. I think a white over white is sharp, but this Hatteras blue I just think is my favorite. I know in 1985 they had a different color, and my buddy George is probably yelling into the screen right now what that color is. I think Commodore blue, and I might be mispronouncing, but I know George will be texting me any minute now to let me know. My buddy George has a thing for these, just like I have a thing for my Broughams, and that's probably one of the reasons why I don't get a lot of these. We're so close together. He's, I don't know, half hour away from me, but we do the same thing. He loves these cars. I love the Broughams. So we kind of stay on our sides of the fence. But every now and again, I get something like this in, or he'll get a Brougham. But this is a 70,000 mile example. This car came all the way from Washington. It's been a West Coast car for what I believe is its whole life. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of backstory with this car. Car came out of an estate, and unfortunately, I didn't get much of a backstory with this car, but it is a 70,000 mile car, which I believe to be original. This car is a beautiful looking car. It runs well. It drives down the street well. I bought this car over the summertime. I was, buying cars like I normally do, and just buy. And this car came in. I was a little disappointed with the condition of the car, especially shipping it all the way from the West Coast. Car kind of sat around, and now it's towards the end of the year. I'm trying to get rid of some of these cars that I've had just sitting. I know I say that all the time, but I really have been trying to withhold from going crazy on buying cars. So this car, it's a beautiful example. It presents well, but it's not perfect. I know, in my mind, I like to make everything perfect. Some things just can't be made perfect, and some things you just gotta say, you know what, you gotta leave to the next guy. And this car is gonna be one of those cars for me. I got a few more coming up to round out the end of this year, maybe into January, now that the cold weather is here. So I just want to, I guess, preface that you know, this car is not a perfect example, but it's going to be priced to sell, and I'm just looking to move some inventory here. So I'm going to go around. I got my pointer here. I'm going to show you some of the flaws with this car, some of the strong points with this car, and let you decide if this car is the one that's right for you. Like I said, about 70,000 miles on the 4100. I know I'm going to get HT 4100 comments. 84, 85, if you wanted one of these cars, that was the engine you were getting. And to all the HT 4100 haters out there, most who have probably not had a 4100, this car is 40 years old. Here it is. It runs beautifully. It drives great. 40 years. 40 years. That's 40 in car years. You know what? If they were so bad, if they were the worst thing ever, we wouldn't be talking about this car here 40 years later. One of the, I guess, the strongest points with this car, and usually is not with these cars, is the convertible top. It's got a beautiful, absolutely beautiful, near flawless white convertible top, and whoever did this top on this car, I think, did a phenomenal job. The stitching on the edges are in beautiful shape. There's no tears, there's no stains. You know, maybe a few minor wear marks here or there, which I don't really see. You know, it's got the real back glass, not a defrost glass. I don't even know if these were available with defrost rear glasses. I'm sure probably in the northern state cars they were. But a beautiful, beautiful top on this car. Usually you see these cars, and even the nice ones can sometimes have some tattered tops. But the top on this car is one of the strong points of this Eldorado. And the top is fully functional up and down. One of the weak points is bumper fillers. I'll show you that as we go around. The other somewhat weak point, but shows well, is the paint on this car. Now you can see the paint actually shows really well. It's got a nice gloss to it. But when you really get up on it, you can see some little defects in the paint. Aside from normal scratches, you see, and it's going to be hard on the hood, but every now and again you'll see a little cluster of these little blisters here, and that's throughout the whole car, really. You can see on the hood here some of these blisters that are under the paint. Now, I've had two friends, and one is a body guy that has looked at this car and has told me what would cause that, or what most likely caused that. Let's see. Like, there's pockets of it, like you can see here on the door. There's like a whole cluster of them right here. There's really none on the fender. A few more pockets here, a couple more there. You know, a little line of them there. There's weird, odd pockets of these little blisters. What I've been told is when this car had a repaint at some point in its life, chances are whoever was painting it, the air supply had water in it or condensation, and that's what causes that. You know, and this is one of those things, you can see how nice and glossy the paint is. I would say if it didn't have that defect, the paint was a pretty good repaint. There are some spots where there's tape marks and stuff, so it wasn't a perfect stripped down type of repaint. It was probably more of an inexpensive repaint, but from even 4 or 5 feet away, the car shows really, really well. You know, you can see this beautiful gloss on the paint. Chrome shows really well. You know, it's when you really get up on the car and you really like stare into the paint, you can see those little blisters. So that's the big thing I saw when this car came in. I was a little disappointed about. Filler panels I saw were just starting to come apart. You can see this one's still holding on somewhat decently. A little bit of paint chipping right there, and there's various spots, you know, of paint chip here and there. Have the eyesight, and like I said, very minor, you know, scratching throughout. Get the chrome E&G grille, some freckling and light scratching on the top of that. Coloring in the emblem is nice, but it gives it a nice, you know, pimp status, I guess, on the front end of this car. A few little scrapes on the bumper there, you know, but you can see here some wear spots on the chrome, and then obviously the filler panel. It's just starting to come apart. The chrome trim on this Biarritz here is actually in pretty decent shape. Usually these get a lot of pot marks. All the chrome looks good there. Trim around the windshield looks good. Beautiful windshield in this car. All the glass is in great shape. It's got what I would think is an older set of tires. Great tread. I don't see any dry rot, but they're Daytona touring tires. Not sure if I see a date code. You can see here some more little blistering. Now, if you push on the blisters, nothing really happens. Like, they're just there. So, take it for what you will. Some light dry rot in some of the window sweeps on this one. This one looks okay. Chrome mirror. See a few more spots of blistering here. The chrome button snap trim is in nice shape. Again, glass rear window. Another Daytona touring white wall. Some of the caps have some marks on it. You can see down here. Where am I? Down here. Some light curb marking there. And I think this one here had a few dented spokes. But overall, you know, the caps look good. They got gold centers, which I thought was kind of a nice touch. You know, some various little chips. Come on the back here. You can see the filler is just coming apart. You know, I would say the repaint over these fillers probably held them on for a little longer. Surprisingly, really nice taillights on this car. Taillights are usually a weak point. Usually they start cracking. Taillights are nice. Rear bumper shows well. You got a little bit of a mark right there. Lower license plate filler. Now, the great thing with these cars, and I guess Father Time has done this along with damaging the fillers. Father Time has brought the cost of these fillers down. I remember when fillers used to be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars to do a filler kit on one of these cars. They still are pretty pricey for the bromes, but you can get the filler kits for these cars, good quality ones, for like $60 on eBay. It's insane how the price has come down. I guess supply and demand is what drives that. Come across the trunk here again. You can see some random, you know, pockets of those blisters, you know, but a real nice gloss to the paint. You know, so this car is a great entry-level car. You want to get into this hobby. You don't want to spend, you know, these cars are insane. What these cars are starting to bring, 25, 30 grand for a real nice, you know, 30,000 mile example. You know, this car is going to be had for a lot less than that. And you're going to get in and get in a nice driving car. Nice taillight, no cracks. We are missing a spot of this one here. You know, do the filler panels. You can get them painted, pop them on, do little things as you go, and make this car your own. The great thing about this car, it's got a beautiful top. It's a rust-free car coming out of Washington State. That Pacific Northwest region you hear me harp about all the time when I get those cars. A little chip in the paint there. You know, a couple random things here and there. A little crack. Some minor scratching there. You know, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see a few more of those very tiny blisters. If you really get on them, you can see. I wish the sun was out a little bit more. Show off this metallic and this beautiful Hatteras blue paint. Another Daytona touring white wall tire. Got a little bit, where am I? A little bit of a ding right there. Sorry, with this jacket on the hood, I'm not as bendable as I usually am, which isn't a lot anyways. Again, this chrome trim shows really nice. Really no pitting or anything like that. Usually these start to get pit marks in the metal here. Only a few small cracks in that weather stripping. Door shows well. You know, power antenna. I think the power antenna did work when this car came in, then went down. The radio's kind of funky with it too. I'll show you that once we get inside there. I believe this might be an original windshield. Easy eye glass, which tells me how, you know, it's not all chipped up. So I'm going to say 70,000 has to be original miles. This chrome trim is in really great shape too. And I know you cannot get that anymore. George harps on me all the time of how rare this trim is. So I think that's pretty telltale to say that the 70,000 is accurate miles. A few little chips here and here. Come down here, you can see some light dinging and damage there on that stainless trim. You know, ding there. Looks like a couple little marks there. Let me see if I can find a date code on these tires. I don't see the DOT number on the outside. They might be on the inside. You know, probably older tires, but it runs down the road smoothly. Another thing I notice here is this guy is just starting to get a little loose. There comes the sun. Anyways, this is, you know, like I said, a real nice, presentable, drivable, you know, get in and enjoy car and maybe not worry as much about. You know, put the top down, cruise. I haven't done much to this car. I've done, you know, very little. Like the car, like I said, the car came in and kind of sat around a little bit, and I am trying to move it down the road. Just clearing space because I still got cars sitting outside that shouldn't be sitting outside, and this is one of them. And I'd like to find these cars new homes before we get snow. We had a very, very light dusting of snow just the other day, and it's put me into high gear to move some iron out of here. Start off 2024 on the right foot. So that's the outside of this 84 Eldorado Biarritz. I'm going to bring you onto the inside of this car, and then we're going to start it up, take it for a spin. All right, diving on the inside of this beautiful blue Cadillac Eldorado. You can see a white and blue contrasting interior. Again, like I said in the beginning, I love the contrasting colors, keeping it in the blue and white family. It's a very 1980s Cadillac color, and I think it's really a timeless color. If any kind of car maker put this combination in a car today, I think people would still buy it. You know, the white over blue and burgundies and stuff like that. White with any of these colors really looks good. Inside of this car, again, kind of like the outside, shows well and is not perfect. In the case of the inside of this car, you know, the white leather probably doesn't hold up as well as any other color. And somebody at some point has done some, what I would say, probably amateur dye work, and has done some, you know, coloring of the seats. And you can see that throughout, you know, some of the actually dye is chipping off in some of the cracked areas. They probably put some filler in there as well. You know, this is kind of a common spot for the side bolsters to start to crack, stuff like this. So the leather is okay, you know, and that's also apparent in the door panel. Real common for these to crack, and it looks like at some point this did crack and they filled it, and you can see here, you know, I say amateur, but at the same time, it's a common spot for it to crack. These door panels just didn't hold up in general. You know, I've seen real low mileage examples with splits in the door panels. It's just unfortunately nature of the beast. You put your arm on this, you know, elbow area, your elbow onto it, and it splits open. You know, it's 40-year-old material. So that could use some cleaning up, you know, throughout. But again, it presents well. It's not hideous. It doesn't, you know, it's not all torn up and tattered up. Carpeting down here, all inside the jamb is nice and rust-free. You know, but you can see here with this, you know, just, I don't know, poor quality touch-ups and stuff like that. Looks like they put maybe a screw in up at the top here at one point. Now the screw is missing or gone. You have your door locks. Oh, did I just lock them? I want to keep them unlocked. Power driver's seat. Goes forward and back. The back tilts up and down, but the front, you can see here, it's tilted a little far back. Oh, it just moved a little bit. I don't know if it's the switch. These do not have a power recline on the driver's side. It does on the passenger side. Dash pad shows well. A little bit of a chip in the speaker grill, but surprisingly, dash pad, well, not surprisingly, but the dash pad's in great shape, and usually these split wide open. Now, this car was obviously garage. It's just, was used over its life of 40 years. Carpeting shows well. It's got the Eldorado door sill plates. But there's unfortunately no factory floor mats with this car. I do have a set of clear mats that were in the car that are in the trunk, but the factory floor mats are gone. Some wear throughout the steering wheel shows well. Some discoloration on some of the stocks and stuff like that. But overall, decent. Another kind of weird thing that isn't worn on this car, that is on a lot of these, is these sun visors both stay up. Very common for these things to be flopping down. They don't stay up. These ones stay up perfectly. It's got a nice interior headliner on the top, all throughout the back window. Flip this forward. You can see the seat back pocket is a little loose. Here, let me zoom this out a little bit. Oh, I am zoomed out. Back seat shows well. Some discoloration and staining, throughout the white leather. The sills, the plates, carpeting, again, shows okay, good. There's no, like, abnormal, crazy wear on it. Just doesn't have the factory floor mats, which would have been nice. It would have been a 3-piece mat kit. And you can get them through, like, places like Stock Interiors. I had an Eldorado like this some years ago, and I had I had gotten a floor mat kit for one of these. I believe these are E-body Eldorados, and it was really nice. It was the Fire Mist red color, had the little logo in the middle. It was a really nice one piece for the front and then 2 rear pieces as well. So that's definitely a possibility. Coming in on the passenger side here, you can see, again, dash pad is in really great shape on this car. All the dash and everything is in nice shape. It has the original Symphony Sound radio, which is finicky. I got it to work, I think, once. Sometimes it's static. And like I said, the antenna worked at one point, but now it's down. All that stuff like that. We'll start the car up in just a little bit. We'll show you what we got inside the glove box here. I know I'm doing this kind of a backwards way. I don't have any owner's manual. This is a windshield wiper pump, I think. The key lock for the hubcaps. Some just random little screws. I think those are for the button top. This is has tag, needs plaque. Oh, someone brought it to a car show, May 2015. No owner's manual with this car, though. Didn't come with one. I don't have one. I don't have any extras. I have brougham manuals. I don't have any Eldorado. Again, inside the door jambs are real clean. Usually the bottom of these doors are all rotted out. These ones are in great shape. The only spot of rust, and it's really just surface rust from where this door gasket, you can see here, sits. But clean that up. It's not rotted. It's just kind of like surface rust. And right there as well. But no rot in this car. You usually see it up here. Real clean throughout. You can see just on the other side, this side has been dyed. This side looks a little better. But you can see spots where they filled, in either a crack or something like that. Again, presents well. A little minor split there. This armrest looks pretty good. Has the passenger. Oh, get back up here. Passenger seat works in all directions. Then you have the power recline as well. Lap belts in the front. You do have shoulder belts that come out of the back that come over, but Cadillac, thought of a good way to disconnect those so you can get in and out of the back easy, and that's pretty cool. Carpeting again shows well. And just like on the driver's side, you can see, some discoloration in the leather that has been repaired over time. Some spots here. It's not perfect, but again, it's not the worst either. It's getting cold out. My hands are so cold. Back seat again shows well. Got the seat belts tucked in there. Rear headliner looks good. Looks like there's a piece missing here. Looks like there might be a bezel over there that might have popped out at some point, but have little ashtrays, rear window switches, courtesy lights, back carpeting shows well. Let me show you this one. Little squeaky, but she holds up pretty good. Doors closed pretty decently as well. All right, let's take our first spin. All right, before we take our first spin, it's so cold I'm starting to lose my mind. I like to show you what I got for keys and stuff. I do have a few sets of keys here with an old Haggerty insurance membership tag. You put the driver's key in, ignition key. You hear that old school, I love that about this era Eldorado, is that chime. And it's kind of crazy that it still works. I know it's kind of common for these to stop working, like the chime box. But it sounds like an old school, like, I don't know, doorbell. like literally like there's a little, you know, I don't know, guy in the dash just hitting a doorbell every few seconds. But we'll start it up. Digital dash lights up. She starts right up. Cluster lights up. Another common thing with these cars is the digital cluster's gone. So this car, like I said, it's got a lot of strong points to it. All the climate control and everything lights up. Some of the pixels, I think, in that might be bad, but like I don't know. It's just randomly scanning through the stations. I don't know. One of the things that I would do, and after having that red brougham over the summer, I don't know if you guys remember that car, that would have had a similar radio to this. And Retro Sound makes a really nice radio. And it has a real original look to it, but it's Bluetooth capable, which is really great. I'm not going to put the top all the way down on this car, but I will unlatch these guys. The only reason is my buddy George hops on me because when it's cold out, you can see the top. It does go down, but it is freezing cold out. It's like 27 degrees. It's vinyl. It's cold vinyl. I will heed my mentor's advice. Rear quarter windows start going down. Actually, all the windows start going down. Put that top back up. All right, we got that latch down. Let me pop the hood while I got you here and pop the trunk. Show you what's going on under the hood of this. Now, one thing I did order, and unfortunately I ordered the wrong ones, but I will have them today, are the new hood pistons for this car to hold this hood up. This car doesn't have like the spring-loaded hood hinges like the Broughams do. But you can see here, I didn't detail under here. You know, I really don't think it would have really added anything, but you know, pretty clean under here. A little bit of surface rust on that air cleaner. It does have original R12 Freon in it. You can see a little crack there on the fan shroud, AC Delco battery, coolant bottle. Oh, everything's present, everything's here. You know, everything looks good. Ooh, it's cold. Boy, that hood is heavy. This probably doesn't help, but I do have the new pistons coming in for it. One thing I noticed when I was closing it, you can see it kind of hiding out in there. It has the what I would call a Tronic Eye, or the Easy Eye, for the automatic dimming headlights. Pop the trunk. I kind of forget what's in the trunk. Probably shouldn't close the door that way. Whew. Inside here, gasket is in all nice shape. It does have a convertible top boot. There's your jack. Trunk mat. I think there's supposed to be a cover over this. I don't see that here. This is a car cover. I don't know what this plastic piece is for. Actually, no, that goes over, I think, one of the fuse boxes. These are the floor mats that were in the car. You know, just cheap plasticky mats. But inside the trunk here, give you a shot of that option tag. You know, but nice and clean. No rust or rot inside the jams here. Now, that's a great thing about this car, is that there really is no rot in this Eldorado, which is, it's not uncommon to see on a lot of these cars. You know, any 80s car really. Trunk pull down works perfectly. There we go. All right, I am freezing. Let's jump behind the wheel of this 4100. I'll tell you a few more things about it as I try to warm up. All right, so I'll pop her into gear here. A couple other things that I've noticed with this car, you know, just driving it, starting it, I really haven't driven it much. Actually, this drive up here was the longest drive I've had with this car. A few things. When I put the top up, the door windows go up pretty well. The rear quarter windows, they go up and down, but sliding up in those gaskets, they have a little trouble, so you have to help those out. I don't know if it's because it's so cold, and the motors are probably a little tired, but I do believe those are just regular GM motors. It's also very, very cold outside. I don't know, does this thing tell you the outside temperature? Yeah, it does. I don't know how accurate that'll be. Okay, this one doesn't. Oh, no, it does. 23. Yeah, okay, it's cold out. It's really cold out. Take it out on the road here. One cool thing about sitting behind the wheel, you feel very, I don't know, it's just kind of, with that grill topper there, the tops of the fenders, you know, you can see the eye sights on those fenders for the headlight monitors. I just think it gives you a real cool feel looking down the hood of this era Eldorado. That's one of the things I know George loves about these cars. As far as accessories and stuff, like I told you, the radio is kind of intermittent. The ashtray here looks pretty clean. Guess I could probably go. All the cluster and everything lights up, all your digital instrumentation. Haven't tried the cruise control. Haven't tried wipers. Wipers are not working. Headlights I know work. It has auto dimming. Let me zoom this out. Auto dimming headlights, and then the Twilight Sentinel as well. Get on this 4100. She drives good, and you know these 4100s aren't rocket ships. They just aren't. You know, that's how they are. They cruise nicely. They do what they have to do. I mean, you can get on them, and it's going to get up and move a little bit, but it's not going to win any races. And these cars aren't built to win any races. It's the first time I've taken this car on the highway. See how she does. The steering wheel is a little off. You can see to the right-hand side. All right. Signals work. Left lane over here. Surprisingly, for a car that really, I don't think has moved much in the last 5 to 10 years, she cruises nicely. Let's see if we got cruise control. Cruise on. Yeah, I try to set it. A little green light comes on, but for some reason it doesn't hold. Actually, which may be leading me into my next thing. This car needs a brake light switch, and that might be why that's just shutting off as soon as you try to turn it on. So it might work once that brake light switch is replaced. Horn inoperable. Woo, baby. Coming in hot. Whoa, we're coming in really hot. We're coming in super hot. We're coming in hotter than it is outside for sure. But she drives well. She drives good, like, you know, for an old 80s Cadillac. I thought the horn worked on this thing. Oh, there we go. I just had it. There's a sweet spot in this pad. Oh, there we go. Yeah. All right, so the horn does work. Anyways, any questions about this car, feel free to give me a call. My name is Anthony here at Specialty Motor Cars in Pelham, New Hampshire. Phone number here is 978-930-1004. Any issues you have with shipping, I can help ship this car. I shipped it all the way in from Washington State. Came 3,050 miles. I can definitely help get it shipped to wherever you are. That's not a problem. Just give me a call and let me know where you need the car sent to. Even the car stops nice. It doesn't pull or anything like that. Got a nice firm pedal to it. Just a little bit of TLC, and this car is going to be a really cool cruiser for somebody next summer, or, well, depending, I guess, where you are. Could be right now. People down in Florida are enjoying their old cars, while us northerners are putting them all away. As it gets cold out here, all the fun stuff has to stop. That's one of the downfalls of living in New England, but hey, it is what it is. I really can't believe it's December already. Anyways, any questions, like I said, give me a call, 978-930-1004. Go over to my website, specialtymotorcars.net, and you can check out all the still pictures of this car. Probably got a good selection of them over there. You can check me out on Instagram, Specialty Motorcars NH, and on Facebook. I do all my sneak peeks. If you're one of my followers over there, you would have saw the pictures of this car go up a day or so ago, letting you know that it was in the wash bay. It's coming ready to be put up for sale, so you always kind of get that little insight there. As far as the price point of this car, I'm going to be asking $99.95 for this Cadillac Eldorado. Before I end this video, I forgot a few things. Again, it's so cold out, my mind is half frozen. I want to show you, I can't put on the lift, unfortunately, but I want to show you the bottom of this car. So I'm going to show you the car outside here, underneath. Let's see just how clean it is. All the floor pans and everything are in great shape. Car, rocker panels, etc. This side again, nice and clean. Whew, had to come back inside. Getting pretty cold out there. So, like I said, you can see under there, it's pretty clean. Not, I mean, clean like detailed, but like clean like not rotted or rusty. You know, just very minimal surface rust on some of the stuff under there. But very, very clean for most of those 80s Cadillacs, especially the floors in those cars would always rot out. If you saw it towards the end there, you can see it does have newer exhaust on the car, newer shocks in the car. I didn't really do much for service here. Like I said, just got the car cleaned up, gonna move it the way the car is. But I wanted to show you just that little clip underneath the car. Let's get back into the video and finish this off. Again, any questions, 978-930-1004. Hit me up, let me know how I can put this dream in your driveway. And like I said, I can help you with all the shipping, all that good stuff. Yeah, if you're looking for an Eldorado, Cadillac, a 1984 Biarritz Hatteras Blue, 70,629 miles. This could be the one for you. Give me a call, 978-930-1004. We'll talk to you all on the next one.